Good morning, students. Now we are going to discuss on input and output verb in COBOL from Unit 2. In COBOL programming language, we have some various verbs, and using these verbs, we used to process various things in your COBOL programming language. So, like libraries in other programming language, we have some various set of verbs, or else we used to call it as an inbuilt verbs. Using these inbuilt verbs, we used to process the data, or we used to process anything in COBOL programming language. So here we are going to discuss on two important verbs. The first verb is input verb and the second verb is output verb. From the name itself, we used to get an idea as what is the thing that you're going to do over here. So the input verb, which denotes we are going to get some input from the computer to your program. So who is going to feed the input? We have two options. Either from the console, a programmer who is going to enter some data that will be feed to your program, or else your device whatever that you have in your computer, any external device or storage device that you have in your computer will feed some input to your program. So these are the two options that we have related to feeding input to your program. So the program which is going to take some input and it's going to process something and it's going to produce output. So these are the roles of input verb. And then second one which is about output verb. Output verb which is for to display the output of the program. So soon after giving the input using input verb, the next thing is we have to process that input, and after processing we have to display it as output. So to display the output we are using output verb. So here we are going to see in detail how we have to use input and output verb and what are the various general format that we have related to input and output verb. So this is going to be about accept verb. So to get the input to a program, we are going to use the verb named as accept verb. So the accept statement is used to read low volume data from the operator's console or some other hardware device from the operating system. So we have some general format for this. The general format is mnemonic name, date, accept, identifier from, day and time. Sometimes the from option is omitted when the data is read into the identifier from the operator's console. So at the time of execution, a message will be displayed as awaiting COBOL and the program is suspended until the operator enters the data using the console keyboard. Data entered by the operator will be always left justified in the identifier. So here, while using accept verb, we have some two options. The first option, the operator console is used to feed some input to your program. And second option, using some hardware device, we are going to feed some input to your program. So whenever the from option is omitted, so which states that a programmer who is going to feed input to a program using the operator's console. The operator's console is nothing but an execution screen or output screen where the programmer would be able to feed some input to the program. Whereas the hardware device sometimes which will be used to feed some input to your program. So these are the two options that we have related to accept verb. So from the name itself we would get an idea, we are going to accept something from the operator's console to your program. So the operator who is going to enter some input, and that will be taken as input to your program. So these are the things about accept verb. And we have one more example. So this is the example that we have: accept flag 1 from control data. So here flag 1, which is going to be the identifier, and from which denotes we are going to take the input from some hardware device. So the hardware device that we are going to use over here is mentioned using control data. So so using this control data, we are going to read the value to the flag 1 from a hardware device. So that will be indicated by typewriter 1, for example. So here we are going to read the date, comma, day or time options that we have in this new versions of ANSI 74 COBOL. So the date options which used to returns the 6-digit current date in the form WY, WM and WD, where first WY, capital WY, which denotes the year, and capital WM, which denotes the month, and capital WD, which denotes the day respectively. So to enter the date we are using this particular option, and to enter the day we have a 5-digit current day option. So you'll have two double Y and three D's, capital D's, where Y which denotes the year, and the triple D which denotes day of the year, and then time option which returns some 8-digit time in the form double H, double M, double S and double T, where double H which denotes the hour, and double M which denotes the minute, and double S which denotes the second, and double T which denotes um, the time option, are seconds, hundreds of seconds respectively. So all these three options could be used as an input options to enter the date values to your program. So so the last one, accept this day from date, which will transfer the value of the current date to this day. So this day which is going to be an identifier, and from which denotes we are going to feed some input from the hardware, and date which denotes which is going to be an inbuilt thing that we have in your computer. So we are going to take some inbuilt information from your computer, and then we are going to feed it as an input to your program. So whenever that you're going to use from along with your accept verb, which denotes you're going to feed some input from a hardware device. The next one, which is about display verb. So the function of display statement, which is opposite to the accept verb, so which used to display low volume results on the operator's console or some other hardware device. So we used to take, or which used to display the output from a hardware device, or else after processing the program it used to display the results in the operator's console. So we have two options similar to the accept verb, but display verb which used to perform a simple thing, which used to display the results of the program on the operator's console. So we have some general format for display verb as identifier 1, identifier 2, display upon mnemonic name literal 1 and literal 2. So uh, upon option is used to denote where you're going to display the output or where you're going to write the output. So mnemonic name, which is nothing but it is an hardware dependent and hardware uh, implementation that you're going to use within your program. And then coming to the next slide, so if the upon option is omitted, the values of the identifier 1 or literal 1 or identifier 2 or literal 2 are displayed on the console. The upon option with mnemonic name, which is going to be an implementer dependent, so the mnemonic name, as in the case of accept verb, should be defined in the special names paragraph. So when more than one operand is specified, the values of the operands are displayed in the sequence they are specified. So whenever that you're going to use display verb and then you're going to use more than one identifiers or more than one literals, so whatever the order that you have used, so the results will be displayed and the output will be displayed in the order that you have mentioned in your display verb. And then upon option is used to denote on where you're going to write the content, or from where you're going to write the content, so that will be used using this upon option. So suppose if you're not going to use any upon option and directly using some identifier, suppose if you have to display the output, it would be easy for us to display the output on your operator's console. So the operator's console is nothing but already, as I told, which is going to be the output or execution screen or black screen that you have in your programming environment. And then whenever that you're going to display the output, there will be no space between these values. Suppose if you have to leave some spaces, accordingly you have to edit in your display verb. So the display verb, which is used to display the identifier value or literal value or any figurative constants value. The next one in this slide, we have an example about using display verb. So it's very simple here. So display within double quotes, you have sum is comma the sum which is going to be the identifier that we're going to use to display the output. And suppose the picture class, which consists of some 3-digit position, and the value that we're going to display is 15 here. So upon running the program, it's going to display the results as the sum is 0 1 5, because we have in 3 9-digit positions. So first 9 will be filled with 0, and second 9 with 1, and third 9 with 5. So we are going to display the value 15 using some 3 9 digit position. So it's very simple. So whenever